Namaskaram. Welcome to the last show of this year of Let's Talk series conducted by the Navapallava. The aim of Let's Talk series was to understand the philosophy that we share with the gurus of not paying and performing. It also was to understand the journeys of these gurus who laid the foundation of being the host in Navapallava by funding the artists. Today, I'll be speaking to Dr. Sunanda Nair. I understood a basic essence of her nature in the last few weeks. The first time we were supposed to talk was almost 2 months ago. We did have a meeting, everything was recorded, but then due to the file being corrupted, we could not air it at the last minute. And then a few more attempts were made to have a meeting. There was either a network issue or things couldn't connect, or one of us ended up being busy. Each time she was so patient and never displeased. Each time there was the same amount of excitement about conducting this meeting. Let's have a small background, or rather understand a little bit about Dr. Sunanda Nair and what would our conversations be on. So this great personality has learned Mohiniyattam, or rather is a disciple of Dr. Kanakrele. She's also learnt Bharatnatyam under Guru Deepak Majumdar, under Kalaimamani Mahalingam Pillai, Kalaimamani Kadiverlu Pillai, and Kathakali under Kalamandalam Krishnankutti Warrior. She is the alumni of the Path Breaking Institute, Nalanda Nritya Kala Mahavidyalaya. All this information, or the wisdom that she has gained in the dance world, including her own experiences, she has contributed it back to the society by propagating Mohiniyattam, Bharatnatyam, for the last 30 years and more, continuing so. She has been recognized by the Indian government, the Kerala state, and prestigious medium such as the Times of India. Her face, which is beautiful and perfectly structured, has been the face of Mohiniyattam in many posters in the media. So if you type Mohiniyattam, that beautiful face is the first thing that you would see on Google. But the intelligence behind that beautiful face has also been recognized in her achievements. She was the first one to gain a degree in Mohiniyattam under the Nalanda University. She also did her masters in Mohiniyattam at a time when the concept of a degree was not even popular, forget in Mohiniyattam, even in the art world. She's recently finished her PhD as well. She's going to throw light into how her journey has been for the last 30 years and how generations seem to have changed. Sunandaji, thank you so much for having this conversation with me. Welcome. Yes.
I might get the recording myself, so I'll send it to you.
Oh, yes,
after
yes.
the
On
host guest that I think, yeah, yeah.
So thank you so much, Sunanda Chichi, Sunanda ma'am, for doing this again. And I'm really apologies for the the virtual problems that we have. The
Okay.
file getting corrupted and me not able to do anything about it. Um,
No issue.
but it's my pleasure to have this conversation again with you. So to take off from even then, I had asked you the same thing, but now that I wouldn't say it's ending because we don't know when it's going to end. But how is this COVID phase, and how is it treating you? I can see that you've kept yourself so busy. Like there is now a Pallava that you're part of.
I'm
So
enjoying
many other
doing.
things, right? So, and always mentoring your students so much. So how have you been busy in this COVID phase as an artist of your caliber and somebody who's a performing artist who's known for performances?
Shruti, it's been wonderful. I feel all my sympathies to everybody who's hurting this time. But on the other side, a lot of positive things have happened. Like I was talking to a colleague of mine. I said, we never get time to say hello. It's like a breezing, like, huh, huh, huh. Here we really get to talk and chat and connect after so long. It's like you must have seen all your colleagues in the brochures. They dance one day before you, they dance one day after you, or, like, oh, this Friday morning you're out. Sometimes you don't even see who's the next artist who's coming in to perform for that same festival. You don't even see to be able to say hello, sit and talk, nothing. You just move on to the next. You have a lot of love for them also, but you never get to a chance to communicate and tell them what you feel about your own colleagues because you kind of identify with them because you know how you have come up, how much hard work has gone into it. So you have due respect for the other person also. Like, can imagine what would you have going through, what you have been through, been there, done that, I know it. And that huge respect for them, but unfortunately can't even acknowledge or just a decent hello to anyone, not been able to do that. But now I said, okay, this is the best time to connect with everybody. I started a Vachika. I started a Vachika audience. You perform, they come and acknowledge, and everybody goes. We are rushing to the next. So this is like really sitting and talking. And not only that, I made my students also come in, listen to what they have to say because they only see them in magazines, interviews. They can't find the connection. So I brought them in. We had a talk conversation. We had a conversation with them. We had Pratibha Ji, who was Pratibha Prahlad, who was there the other day. It was wonderful. Like just sitting and listening to everybody other than your own. It's like you when you talk, you explain like what I'm doing. Your own struggles, your own victories, or whatever you call it. But it's nice to also hear your colleagues speak all that, and you truly acknowledge all that has gone into making all of them what they are today. So brought in a Vachika. Also, I'm doing Arpanam Festival. Arpanam is again bringing in beautiful artists and also showcasing them at this time, which we all need to support each other. So I'm doing a lot of things which is positive. And I think this is the best time to connect with everybody. Did you lose me in between?
Yeah, yeah. Now
From
it's
the
yeah, but I got what you were saying. Now,
vocal voice, you got the voice.
yeah, I got the voice.
So you can put the pictures in there.
No, I don't. And sometimes what happens is while recording, I think certain of these things which get stuck is not visible, so it's okay.
Okay. So is that okay now? Yeah.
And these are okay. These are forgive everyone. These are the virtual problems that we cannot do anything about.
It's okay so far. It was okay so far.
Yes, yes, it was. So you
One,
were saying, talking about how it gives you time to connect with other artists and especially your colleagues, right? And that is
yes, correct.
like I think in every,
Seniors,
yeah, seniors, and I think in every other field they have, because they go to an office or they go to an institution, and they, that is where they sit with their colleagues, seniors, and coordinate and talk. And but somehow that never happens with performing artists, because that becomes very difficult. And yeah, I think that is one of the positive aspects. Like even Sharmila ji was saying, Sharmila Biswas ji in one of her Let's Talk series, about how you cannot, performances during virtual time is not the best idea, because because we are 3D artists, right? The what is supposed to be a real format now is getting into a digital format, so that much experience is reduced. So what you need to focus on in other things like work, taking workshops, uh, community service, the art community service, which you are doing so brilliantly well, right? Uh, in that, especially when it comes to something like Navapallava, there is this strong support that you give to younger artists. Even in your selection of artists, I keep noticing there is a fair choice that you make of who needs to
yeah,
be there, and talent is given a lot of um, importance.
thought is given to.
Yeah, thought is gone into it. And now again the next show of Navapalava is again by you, right?
Yeah,
uh, and of course Navapalava's idea was to bring in dignity through uh,
the
some
arts.
amount of financial benefit for the artist, right? So why do you? This is not the first hosting that you're doing. You are
Yeah,
somebody who, you're one of those gurus who regularly do it in
yeah,
Navapallava, right? So
yeah.
why such faith in this concept? Why such
You know,
strong faith?
Shruti, like when I was growing up, okay,
Mm,
uh, we had, it was completely a different scenario. We didn't ever perform on CDs. We never had the concept of CD. It's only like last 2 decades when I've been here that I'm actually performing on a CD. I never ever performed on a CD.
mm,
So wherever we went earlier, it used to be live performances. And I remember even competitions that the university conducted, we needed live orchestra. Now when we go for competitions, they don't pay you. You're just representing your college. Sometimes the colleges have funds to support, they support you. Otherwise, they don't, which I didn't get. My college didn't have a fund for cultural activities as such. So, not much. So, we didn't really get. So, yes, we've fished out our own payments, my parents did. And then later it changed to small performances. Again, we never had the concept of series, so it was live performances. So all those we actually spent. And I remember, like, I was pretty young when I had taken over my guru's class. I had taken over, no, my guruji said, okay, you are the one who's going to be in it. I don't know, somehow he felt, yeah, I would be there. Though it was not a choice I had made to take dance as my profession, not at 15 and 16. So, but yes, I was very dedicated. And so somehow my sir left that class to me and went at that age. Somehow he had the trust and he retired. From that time, I've been teaching and performing.
mm,
You get it? So, and plus my college activities, my regular college that I attended. So I had kept, like, my parents, my mom was always a big support. So that funding, finance was not a big deal at that time for the live performances we had to do. And then I know we kind of spent quite a bit to be able to do. And also that time also the organizers used to be, they just give you a program. They don't say like we're going to pay you. It was never a part of it. And it was understood it has to be live because we don't have CD. So been through all that. And also I'll tell you one more thing. When I was growing up, when I was 20, 22 something, my students were doing the Arangetram. One of them wanted to do Arangetram and a few in that class. And while going through that process, I realized that the kids who can afford to do Arangetram are doing it. The kids who cannot are not doing it, though they are equally or more talented. but they don't have the financial backing for their Arangetram. Which, and I also tell them, like I told, remember telling one parent who was doing Arangetram, you don't really have to go through a dinner process. The idea is the student is being presented, give her all importance. She's important that day, and let's appreciate what she's done. But then parents, they feel they're invited, so it becomes like a big dinner thing. It hit me bad that my kids who actually could dance were there, but they couldn't do the Arangetram. That was the time I made a decision that Arangetram is not going to be my thing. Okay, it's not going to be the just you have to do it to be able to get on to the next level. I started introducing my students to young dancers festivals, which we used to have in India. I rather tell them like you better spend little for that orchestra, which will be one part, 1/10 or even lesser expense than the Arangetram. And the 4 5 festivals they dance like that, they would have still spent lesser than the Arangetram. And if they are really good, they would have made a mark as an artist, which is more valuable than doing one Arangetram one evening and boom, it's all blown off and nobody knows what happened to that kid after that. So that's the stand I took, and that's what I started uh, guiding my students to. They were all graded artists of Doordarshan in 90s. They were big time award, national award winners as well. They were CCRT scholarship for both Bharatanatyam and Mohiniyattam. I got when I was teaching there. I was pretty young, and so that's the reason. With this kind of background, this kind of thinking, I said, whatever little support in my way I can do, somebody's thinking on a similar line. Like, let's not ask them to spend. Let's give them a chance to do a young dancers festival. When they do these young dancers festival, they started getting noticed if they're really good. Then the next performance will come up. And plus, not straining the kids because we know what goes into a costume. Costume spending is not easy, and you can't afford to have costume new for every program. Okay, you have to spend for your costume. You have to spend for musicians. Nowadays, even if you don't spend for a live orchestra, the amount of cost it takes for a recording, it really kills you to record one song. So if a kid gets noticed like that and she gets further little performances, that little contribution that you keep going will go into something that she paid for all the recordings and costume and things. So in a way to support. So I'm always been there because this is a thought that hit me when I was 20. And I still carry the same thing even here about the no arganatrum concept. Rather, present them for Young Dancers Festival. If they are really good, they will make a mark. And if they make a mark, they will. If they're dedicated, they'll make a mark. If they don't work hard enough, that's their problem. Then you can't. Whatever support I give is not going to help them. They have to do it for themselves too. I can guide them. I can tell them, but the things they have to do is their own hard work, dedication to the art. The amount of sacrifices also we have made to be able to. It's not just like it just came like a rosy. No, there are so many things like you have compromised on family events sometimes because you have something else to do. You have committed already. There are so many things that happen in the family. Sometimes you have to just because you have committed to the art, whatever your word to, you have to go ahead and do it. So it doesn't come simple. You have to have that kind of dedication and focus to be. So if you support a student who's you see are having these kind of qualities in them, you see them doing good job, you see them pursuing it, and you can watch their luckily with staying at home and watching things that happen on social media, you can really catch some youngsters who sometimes do not have that support to come out and do things, and then you notice a spark. I said this kid needs a chance, so that's how I selected a few in the past too. Yeah, so that's how my it's not just like okay there's like I usually ask Ashokji has been a strong support factor in this, and I say Ashokji some more something, and then we come to a conclusion, and he's always been supportive. He's like, okay Sundarji, your decision. So I said, I look this sir, he says perfect, no issues. So it and also the working among, like the even if it's a Nava Pallava committee, the working among all of them is so good. It's so easy without so that makes it even easier. So Nava Pallava, yes, definitely that has been my philosophy of always supporting youngsters, and this is not new, Shruti.
mm,
Even when I was dancing and just like boom, I had my students following right there performing, and what a huge pride, moment of pride. Like, oh, okay, you are able to teach and continue with your art and give it to the next generation, and they look at it's like your baby blooming. And why not? It's like you take pride in your family, your children. I just take pride like that. I have no issues. I have no issues with sharing. And sometimes I'm even before I'm performing an item I've choreographed, I've already given and they've started performing. Then my orchestra members, when I'm like, now what are you doing? I said, this. Oh, but your last time your students came, they already performed all that all over the place. I said, no issues. Let's do another one. So that's how it is. You keep choreographing new ones. So if my students perform, great, go ahead and do it. I am working even more. You get
mm,
it? So it's a beautiful process. I'm enjoying it. And also staying at home. I'm not a stay-at-home person. But with this, I've seen the positive side of the whole thing instead of
mm,
I've been preparing students, choreographing, reading. Yeah, I don't want to show you my table around. It's like a mess with so many books up and down. So
mm.
doing those kind of things. Also, for the first time in my life, I sat and watched some movies, which I never. I used to feel like 2 hours sit in front and watch a movie. Then I really caught on to some good artistic movies and beautiful acting direction. So I found a little of myself like, okay, sit back, you work too hard. You are allowed to take 2 hours off and watch something and enjoy. So all this has come in my lockdown period, and I do not look like I'm disappointed. I see, I saw the positive side in it too.
Okay.
So why not Navapallava? This is my been my philosophy. So
Okay.
here I am. Yeah.
Mhm. See, to take off from your own conversation, you spoke about how, instead of arrangation, we can give each of the some few opportunities, even if they invest in that, and it's smaller amounts than the arrangation. But now, when we come to Navapalava or any other, you would have seen there are so many Facebook posts about it as well, where they say, do not manipulate artists, do not
True.
pay and perform, right?
True.
You
True.
don't have to do that anymore.
True.
Um,
True.
and I think the stand has come because where it was before, which was, I think, somewhere our field was a little more naive in understanding the concept of a performance, and
Correct.
it doesn't matter. We'll put in some money, and the organizer is also somebody who didn't have the money. But now it's a different thing. Organizers are making money from poor artists, right? And but
Your answer.
my question is, where is that clear cut? Where do you know that it is a manipulation and you really don't have to do it? And
Yeah.
where will the artist understand, okay, this is an opportunity in the sense that uh, there are favors in every field, right? Uh, is this something that I'm doing for something that is not monetary, but for something else? It could be a contact, or it could be the love the person has for the other person. It could be so many other things, right? So, what's your take on this?
Yeah, I remember in my early start of years of performance when I was at Nalanda, a student,
Mm,
my ma'am called me to her office and she said, Sunanda, I'm not naming the Sabha from Chennai, is wants you to start off with the inaugural function. This was probably mid 90s, probably,
mm,
and would like you to start maybe a little earlier. Would like you to perform and start off with the inaugural function of that Sabha, for the Chennai season thing. I said, ready. Left, right, center, we've been dancing. So, yeah. So, ready. No issues. 2 weeks later, she calls me back. She says somebody else has put in a huge amount for the same spot. So, you're not going to be performing. And so, then she said, Sunanda, it's not worth paying so much and performing. You rather not do it. I would say you rather not do it. I said, ma'am, it's whatever you say is fine. If you say not doing, not paying, I'm fine. So, I didn't pay, I didn't perform. So, this philosophy is there from that time.
mm,
You don't have to pay to perform. Okay. And I don't think, um, I think how you recognize between when you are allowed to do a performance for somebody, or when you understand you're being taken advantage of, is Shruti's question, right?
Yes. Yes.
Now, if you look at the background of the organization, also helps. Like what kind of performances they have been doing. What do the kids finally, what do they really get a recognition? How much is a recognition
Mm.
valued? Okay. So that you can think about, like if it's really worth it, it's a genuine cause. And plus, uh, you can tell whether that organization is being granted sponsorships or grants from organizations. I think these two factors, sponsorships and grants from organizations, if you look into those factors,
Mm.
that can tell you whether you need to perform, pay and perform. Forget pay and perform. We don't need to pay and perform at all.
Definitely.
Yeah, let's not get into that. I feel awkward. Yeah,
Yes.
don't let it pay and perform. Even if you have to say, okay, you have to
Perform
take out a little
without
for
any
your own
consequences.
expenses.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you really have to take out for your own expenses, do you really want to do that? If it is really worth it, and somebody's doing, for example, a charity, and it is really going to a charity. If
Mm.
you tell me like, okay, there's something for kids happening, it hits you hard here, and you say, okay, no, you don't even ask questions after that. Like it really, that kind of cause. If you realize that there's some genuine cause out of it, I don't think I would think twice. It's like, especially now with CDs, there's no issues. Earlier, I don't know. I mean, I never did for those kind of, yeah, so I don't know about that. But today, if somebody tells me like there's something for children's cause happening, or for women, battered women, will you be doing? Yes, my children have gone. My students have gone free of cost, everything. And for like, old age homes where
Mm.
the people are sitting there,
Mm.
and they see these young kids come and dance. First of all, they forget they're dancing. They just look at those young kids
Mm.
like, oh my God, children have come, because they're all forever surrounded by old people around them.
Mm.
And so, and the amount of love and affection those kids get is a blessing. So those kind of things you
Mm.
don't even talk about. So those kind of things really hit you hard here, where I'm
Mm.
like, my students tell me emotional quotient is higher than my IQ, which I totally agree, because it just boom, I just need so much, and it melts my heart.
Mm.
So, and that is one thing. So if you look at the grants, look at the sponsorships people get, then if they tell you that they can't even give you accommodation, you have to look for your own accommodation or things like that, that hurts. That's a time when the student can think like, sorry, I think yeah. Even if like the kid has to go and perform free for CD also, I'm okay, so long as your travel, your accommodation is taken care of. When you receive these things,
Mm.
then I feel they should do that. But like I told you once, Shruti, I don't know if you remember this. There was one organization. I performed. They invited me to perform. They took care of everything, everything. I mean, obviously, and whatever. Okay, but they had another Young Dancers Festival come up,
Mm.
and I said, okay, I recommended. So now you have anybody? I recommended. I'm not naming any. Recommended, and the kid, just before the performance, they say, oh, that kid has to pay so much money. I said, for what? And bam, that kid has been practicing, so happy about the whole thing, enthusiastic, book tickets, ready to go, all that. Plus, luckily, the kid had some family there, so the staying part didn't come in. I was like, so I said this, and then said all the travel, everything. Yes, all but the kid, and staying all but the kid. Luckily, the kid's travel, everything was taken care of, and her stay was taken care of.
Mm.
Then I said, look, if you had told me earlier, I wouldn't have done this.
Mm.
Wow, the kid got excited, practiced, been working hard, doing a great job, ready to go. And then I said, look, it's too late to tell the kid, I don't want to hurt her. I'm not going to disappoint that kid after all the preparation. I will pay you the money myself.
Mm.
But you're not to tell her, because that'll hurt the kid also. And
Mm.
she'll somehow try to repay it. I
Mm.
don't want that to happen. I said, I've given my word to her. I'm not going to. So I paid for that kid. I said, look, keep this, but you're not going to inform her. After that, we've never touched that topic again. We've never done that again.
Mm.
So and plus you receive grants, you get like innumerable sponsorships. I keep hearing when I was performing myself there, so much of sponsorship. I said, as much at least they can take care of. Okay, they're performing on CD, at least little stay and accommodation, small things. And that's encouraging for a kid. Otherwise, some of the very good kids hearing all this, they get put off because not everybody has a financial background, the same philosophy as the arrangeter.
Yeah.
So people who are less talented
Mm.
can afford go and do it. People who are so much talented fear to enter because they can't afford it. So it's unfair to this. I like the kid who's worked hard doesn't get a opportunity, but that kid must have worked hard, but not as talented as this one, but gets opportunity. So I feel that's not fair.
Mm.
So a child can evaluate, and also that same child can reach out to Navapallavan
Mm.
and put in an application, because here we are looking into them. Here we're looking into them and playing a small token. It doesn't go big way. I know it myself. It doesn't go big way,
Yeah.
but it's encouraging, and it'll encourage that kid to work harder and look into something more next time. So it is definitely encourage. So these, I don't know if the children are really getting that desperate to just. I remember my time, if I had so much selfies and things, things would have been so much different. But the amount of opportunities kids have now
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
amazing. But also, amount of talent is also there. Beautiful kids,
True.
hardworking kids, amazing to see the youngsters.
Mm.
So definitely Navapallava is very encouraging, and we should have. I encourage my age dancers, my contemporaries to all come in
Mm.
and support these youngsters, because, like what our gurus taught us, and the way they guided us, and because of which, because of their guidance and teaching, I'm here, Shruti, talking to you. So, all my due respects to my gurus. And I just want to just do the same for the little kids out there.
Mm.
I know, like, 8 hours, 9 hours of dancing. There's never, not once I've said like I'm tired. Like even my ma'am, she's, I believe, still like in college when they talk, they say, I've never heard that girl say I'm tired or I'm done. So
Mm.
that kind of hard work. So that's a really nice thing to hear from your guru. And similarly, I have so many kids like that, Shruti, who are really working hard,
Mm.
and it's not like it's not like a flashy thing. It's like jump, boom, boom, gone. I see them sincerely in the background,
Mm.
working at it, irrespective of what the results are.
Mm.
So that's very, sorry, that's very touching. Yeah.
So,
So that's how we can.
when you speak of this and you say guru and shishya, it sounds like you come from this guru parampara guru shishya parampara. But parallelly, you're also somebody who's done so much in academy, right? You're
Yeah,
the first one to get a degree.
Mohiniyattam,
Yeah, in Mohiniyattam, and post graduation in Mohiniyattam, and
the
now
Bombay
you have
University,
also completed your PhD now,
PhD.
right?
Yeah,
So there has been this continuous academic progress as well, and
yeah.
now I
I was
think,
a lecturer. I was a lecturer at the university also,
wow,
Bombay
that's
University.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, after my master's, only next year I was a lecturer. Till
Mm.
about 2000, I was a lecturer in Nalanda. Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like you have some kind of a time capsule. I can do this, I can do this, and suddenly there's, oh, I was also this, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah. That was, I finished a master's 90, 90, and then was a lecturer from 91 till 2000. Then my husband's job had to move. My son was like 7, 8 years old by then, but this was never in the plan.
Mm.
Yeah, it was like I had told my mom and dad, like, I'm not going out of Bombay, leave alone India.
Mm. So, how many
So
children do you have? I
I
know.
have two children, one boy and one girl. My
Okay.
boy is a chemical engineer. He's now studying for his master's in business administration at Rice University. He's married,
Okay.
and his wife is Anita.
Mm.
And my daughter is Tia.
Mm.
She's about 16 years old.
Okay. Okay. Wow. How beautiful. I've seen
Thank
the
you.
pictures, but I didn't know
Yeah,
two kids. So two kids, post graduation and PhD, and being one of the most exquisite Mohiniyattam performers India has known, and it's so many accolades there. But I'd like to come back to that one particular subject. I got carried away, sorry.
No
See,
problem.
when it comes to art academics, right, we have come a full circle. We started off by saying that it's spirituality and we really don't need degrees and stuff like that. Then there came an era where it needed to be formally understood as a subject. Then we
Correct.
looked at as entertainment, and then
Correct.
all these degrees and post graduation, all these trends came in. Now, especially in Bangalore, we even have universities that is trying to mix art and science. So you have a degree which is called the performing arts degree, but one
Yeah,
of
I heard that.
will be computer or psychology and stuff
Yeah.
like that, right? So now there is that creative space, but at the same time, there is also the alternative thinking, which says that art is an expression and it comes from within. And you whatever you do research, it is for your own thing. It is not a pragmatic, practical thing that you need to apply somewhere. So you really don't need these degrees, right? So there is that parallel thinking as well. I'm asking you this because you were the first one to do,
Yeah.
and not just in Mohiniyattam. I think it just if you take classical dance, you will be the first
Okay.
few, right?
Okay.
To have done
Proper
academic
degree.
degrees.
Yeah.
So your PhD, if I'm not wrong, was more in the recent
Bombay.
years, right? So you would have seen a vast change in the waves. And what is your take on that? As in, how do you feel about it? As in,
See, we always talked about arts as being a Guru Shishya Parampara. It
mm,
has been. It has been till last century. Okay, I mean, towards the late last century.
mm,
So it's always been like what Guru taught Shishya, Shishya taught Guru, Shishya, and it went on. Okay, we never had a formal education to dance, with a, especially nobody ever thought dance could. But if you look at it, the vision of man in the 1960s, 70s to form a university. Okay,
not
like
particular, yeah.
she's always been like that.
Even
Always look like 20 years, 30 years ahead.
the way she has formatted the adabus and so systematic in that approach, right?
Shruti, if you look at it like being right in Bombay, the plot is just bang opposite Amitabh Bachchan's bungalow. A
Mm,
3-4 floor university affiliated, Bombay University affiliated dance degree. You
mm,
know, in the 70s. You're talking about me being first student of Mohiniyattam. I mean,
mm,
she created a university affiliated to Bombay. Like this, there are so many other universities, big universities, which still are like deemed to be universities. If you look at her vision,
mm,
I'm so blessed to have a guru like that. And of course, it has to rub little on me, whatever, but it's hardly anything compared to her strength, her energy, her vision. Amazing. So, yes, this is a small part being a first student of doing a degree, proper degree from India. One of the first students I mean, I'm proud to be one of those. But if you look at the Guru Shishya Parampara and you look at a scientific study of dance, okay, like the degrees and this, we have had great performers here. We have great gurus that came through this, correct? They all came through this parampara only. This is a very later addition.
mm,
But what I feel now is what was said that time, we have started writing down.
mm,
This used to be said. And of course, they came down. All the paramparas, it came down. That's why you have the greatest of artists
mm,
here.
mm.
But remember, we have always, India had an oral tradition of passing. Now we have started with the writing. If you
Document.
look in the West, yes, if you look in the West, they always had a writing tradition. Even simple things. You talk to a local person here. If you say something, immediately book and pencil comes out. Even if it says like, I will talk to you 10 minutes later, they'll write, I'll talk to you 10 minutes later. So they write down everything. That's why you see so many scholars who have written texts on Indian dance. Like when I was doing my research, I referred to them because they wrote them down. We passed it through Guru Shishya Parambara. So, which is, you can't say that. Okay. But for us, for students now, we are used to a different setup. Last at least 4 or 5 decades, education has changed the way. I mean, it has come into music, it has come to dance, has come into painting. We have JJ School of Arts. We have all those have come up, which is affiliated to the universities or to be. So we have started writing and analyzing things, which we should have done earlier, but we didn't have that tradition. We had that tradition in the West. So they wrote down everything they came and learned from India. They wrote them down and put them. That's why we have books, more books, them writing than us writing. Now, if you see, we have so many writers writing them too. So that is just a transition from the oral to the, which is more valuable because this will go a long way. Now, if you ask me what my gurus, Bharatanatyam gurus said, I don't know because they were told to my guru, and my guru told me. But now, since we have these things written down from now onwards, now Kanak Rele, ma'am, whatever she has written is there in a book. Even 2 generations down, my students and students want to know, they can see that book. So this is so much more valuable. Also, the study part of it. I remember in my exams, okay, if I had especially a nritta item, and I'm presenting a nritta item, and we would finish an item, and then ma'am is sitting there, we have external examiners there, orchestra is sitting there. After it is done, okay, she will say next, okay, start analyzing your addos according to charis, vedas, pada vedas, everything. So we have to start analyzing. For example, if we did a jati, then you have to start analyzing Ritta hastas, these. Pada veda with the utkatita, with the tandutal, all those kind of whatever you did in between all the steps, taditam, all that we did, we have to keep analyzing. That was a study. So if you ask me from head to toe, like what I did, I will be able to tell you. Now, this is the Vaksha, this is the Vaksha part, this is the Kati. All the names of the Katis, Vakshas, we have to learn all that. If you ask me today, I'm like, because that was you have to just go by, yeah. So what I'm saying is, we had to analyze every part of the body for the Nritta. So if you tell me, like, I can, like, for example, if you tell me, I want to design a movement, I don't know if I can show you a paper here. Just show you. Just give me a minute. Yeah. If I'm thinking of a movement, like for example, we had something like a, sorry, I'm a little clumsy today.
That's what
For
makes.
example, yeah, we had like levels, and it told us like this is. I'll show you. Okay, 1 minute. For example, we just made figures like this. We were taught body kinetics. Okay, so it told you like, okay, this is your waist, this is where it should be, this is your, and then we would do arrows to show where our movements would travel, how it would travel. So we were taught these techniques in college. So when I see a movement, I can analyze, okay, from here, this is how it goes. From here, it goes in. From here, it comes out. And from there, you kind of let your breath out and breathe out. So I can see that study, ingrained in you. These are the things which have added to my performance. Okay, this is just the nritta part of it. Now, when I did Abhinaya, for example, if I'm doing a Padam Punte Nirmori, I'm doing a Mugdha Nayika. So my this drishti should be just Mugdha Nayika. It cannot be another Nayika. Mugdha is just plain, simple, innocent young maiden. And she looks at her friend and she's like, awesome, okay. And that a 16-year-old would appreciate a friend, that kind of thing. It is not me, my age doing it. So what went into that? What kind of look went into that? And what happened? The innocence in your eyes and appreciation is a little like wide-eyed. So all these have drishti vedas. So change the performance. She'll ask every small flicker. They would ask, what was that? Your performance is 15 minutes in the examination hall. The questions last for an hour or more because you have to sit and analyze. That's why when I'm, yes, you have to analyze your body, the way, all the movements you took. You have to analyze, make sure your hasta is a clear cut, your drishti bhedas are perfect. And of course, Mohiniyattam, Abhinaya is a forte. So every time I came out of the examination hall, I felt like I'm drained because everything that I feel I know, she has asked and taken it out from me. The different nayikas, the dhira, the mental setup, the physical setup of that nayika. So the moment you enter, it's the nayika you're portraying. There should be no flash of you at all in that. There is no Sunanda coming in. You are a Mugdha Nayika till you finish. You are a Mugdha Nayika. Her sorrows, her pains are Mugdha Nayikas, not yours. If you are a Abhisarika, you are Abhisarika right from the time you enter to an Abhisarika. I don't care attitude of the Nayika till I exit. Unless I'm having some flashes or flashbacks in between, which tells me like a Sanchari, which is like flashback, I'm going there. When you're going there, you become that Nayika. But nowhere when you're doing an Abhinaya piece that you are a Sunanda. And also she told me, it's always above the skin. She always told me, it, it's always that the character is above the skin. It will never merge into your skin. Because if it merges into your skin, you'll be you'll be like a broken person with all the emotions that you're doing up and down. Second, saying that Naika is not you. You are Sunanda inside, but that Naika is just a layer above you. So that you can feel almost right there till how much that Naika feels. So this, all these uh, texts and studies came into the dance. So when I'm teaching, I can immediately like, no, this is not it. This has to come here. Oh, this body language is too loud for that. Tone down. Or you need a bigger body language because this is what you're doing. Or this is a male character. Your chest should be right up there. Things like that. So all these, now even if I say keep your chest up there, I can name them. So that has definitely added a lot of value and in the presentation as well as in the teaching. And teaching is equally enthralling and exciting because it's a form that you're working with. It doesn't matter who the student is, it's the form you're working with and creating a beautiful picture. So which is very challenging too, very exciting. I'm so happy I'm doing what I'm doing.
It's quite.
So you can't say which Kanna, you can't say which one. It's like always we have had the greatest of artists with no degrees, and then you have this. It's the idea of this being written down here
It
and
creates balance,
can
basically.
be studied by and can be studied by future generations.
Yeah.
So there are some things if the gurus missed while teaching and bringing it down, this from here onwards, at least with the writing tradition that we have started, it will stay there for much longer. So um, definitely now, if I even if I feel I'm like, what this Rasadrushti is this, I can go back and look at text now. So
I still have one last question left.
sure.
The and it is very close to what Mohiniyattam is. So there is this, what do you say, a perception of what Mohiniyattam is, and that is it is graceful, it is soft, it is slow, and there is also this idea of, oh, you can't add colors to it, and I feel a lot of the common audience and even perhaps the common artist at times or a conventional artist have ideas of Mohiniyattam that is a few decades ago, right? Or one or two decades ago. It becomes very difficult for artists or a conventional artist or perhaps a naive audience to understand Mohiniyattam beyond that. Why do you think this is? And is this the same even outside on an international space, or perhaps with a student who's culturally different, uh, who's not placed geographically within India? Like, if I have to take some of my friends who are learning from outside and who are not Indians, so if there's a Japanese or if there is a South American, how they approach this art form seems to be so objective in nature, right? It is not something that they sit and judge about and think, okay, no, oh, I should be adding color, oh, I shouldn't be adding color, oh, I should be doing this, oh, I shouldn't be doing that. So they seem to be a little more liberated than the Indian artist when it comes to Mohiniyattam. So, what do you feel about it?
See, Mohiniyattam for me is definitely an expression brought out well by women folk. Okay,
Mm,
that's what I understand. I don't really have a male student, so I don't know what the energy is, which I can talk about when I have a male student. But as of now, so I feel it is an art form exclusively for the women
mm,
because, and no, not because it can bring out or should bring out all their strengths, all their weaknesses, everything. You have an art form to
mm,
give it into that, everything that you got, right? Being slow, being slow. If you notice, Nalanda Bani is a little faster than the other Banis that you have seen. We are a pace ahead. Okay. Now that is the parampara that ma'am has set. And I truly believe that because when you are looking at an art form, you can't just say this has to be only slow. What if you're doing a vibrant character like Krishna? I mean, Krishna is forever like happy, especially when he's with kids jumping, prancing around. I think if you have like a jati there to like his dancing and playing, it it is Krishna. How can you like slow down and Krishna? Yes, isn't it? It could be a gopi. It could be a gopi. But when you come to Krishna, it could be
mm,
it's that Krishna, right?
mm,
Especially the young age, kuti age or teenager.
mm,
So if you're talking about so things like that, if he's having a fight with Kalia, can we do a slow motion thing? So we have to have that required energy for it,
mm,
right? At least I'm not saying pick your leg and jump in the air and jump up and down and twirl and do a somersault. No, but still, if you have a little vibrancy with the footwork, with
mm,
the charis, with the Vedas,
mm,
and a little pick of the rhythm, it is convincing. Your idea is to convince, irrespective of the style, you is convince an idea that you're communicating with the audience. If
mm,
you do that and if you're like, oh, having a fight and my hand goes like one and a two, it's not convincing.
mm,
Okay? It's like, okay, between that one and the two, somebody can kill you already. So you are looking at something, you have to look at the um, item that you're doing. What item are you presenting?
mm,
If you're doing a Shiva, it will definitely have the vibrancy of Shiva. It cannot be the same as Shakti dancing, Parvati dancing beside him. It cannot. It is definitely different. The language will be louder. His limbs will be bigger. He will be, uh, uh, his energies would be like all over the place. And when Parvati dances, it will be completely last the opposite. You have to show both. Doing that for 36, 37 years. And earlier in the days when I used to dance, I used to say, it's definitely different, but we didn't even realize how 2 hours passed by. It was so beautiful.
mm,
So it was just introducing a new style. There was no complaints or about the pace or the style ever. Okay. And then, most important, I've been traveling so much internationally and also I've traveled with Bharatanatyam artists who are on the top. And I would say the Mohiniyattam style has been victorious because I used to present Bhavayami that time. And Bhavayami was wholesome. It had Rama, Sita, Lakshmana, Shurpanaka, Maricha, Ravana, everybody there, Kaikeyi. I had all those characters presented with different body languages, different energies, different vibrations,
Mm.
and it was thoroughly enjoyed. And I had people come up and say, we didn't even realize that Mohiniyattam had so much potential.
Mm.
So that was a victory for Mohiniyattam. And wherever I've performed, it has been it's an eye-opener performance that Mohiniyattam so definitely Mohiniyattam can borrow a little from all of them as well. Okay, and all the we do the Kathakali, all the Kalashams. You don't have to jump up and down. But if you were doing Shiva, you can pick up one or two and do it. Why not? It doesn't become less of a Mohiniyattam. And
Mm.
Mohiniyattam doesn't have to be only me and Virod Kandita Naik.
Mm.
Mohiniyattam can be the strengths of the Kerala women. They are very strong women, Kerala. They are
Mm.
very voicey about what they have, what they want, their needs, everything. So when it comes to dance, why are we so like pavam and pava? I
Mm.
don't agree to that. I don't really don't agree to that. I like to open up Mohiniyattam into being more communicative,
Mm.
bringing in more subjects,
Mm.
being see an art form has to be it cannot be like stagnant. It
Mm.
has to start accommodating everything that's around them. It has to grow
Mm.
with the times. It has to see what the audience wants. It has to see what the other styles are doing. You
Mm.
mean to say Bharatanatyam is the same that was performed and I learned 40, 50 years ago?
Of course not. Mm.
We don't recognize the Bharatanatyam today. What I would learn, my Guruji was like, one, you do to the right side, same perfectly, you do to the left side.
Mm.
What choreography this side, you, Nayaka, everything same on this side.
Mm.
Now you do on the right side, that same person doesn't know what the person is doing on the left side.
Mm.
They become so much more vibrant. The kids are brilliant with their choreographies. It has, but why do we have for a, whatever reason, like 50 years ago, we did this like this, so we need, times have changed. Kids have
Mm.
changed. Kids
Mm.
are, they have the world in their palm. They're seeing different things. They want to be adapted into today's times as well.
Yeah.
If you say 50 years ago I danced like this and I'm dancing 50 years now, that's not fair to the kids
Mm.
because the kids are not living in a generation that was 50 years ago.
Mm.
That doesn't mean Mohiniyattam has to be, I don't care attitude. No, we have to bring out the beauty of Kerala.
Mm.
It has to, it's a Kerala art form. It has to bring out the beauty and the grace of Kerala. But within that beauty and grace of Kerala, there are so many things that you can incorporate and the art can grow. The
Mm.
art has to grow to be on par with the other styles forever, keep growing.
Mm.
The amount of students learning Mohiniyattam here, it was not there, Kanna, when I came. People used to dance Bharatanatyam and one item they should wear a Mohiniyattam costume, perform. As if like there was no behind, like no background for it at all. They
Mm.
just thought like some art form, you can wear a Mohiniyattam costume and do an item.
There are still people
So
like that.
unfair. How can the teachers do that? Don't these teachers themselves know that they're not supposed to belittle an art form like that?
Mm.
Like I can't just say, okay, my girls know Bharatanatyam, take a Kuchipudi song, do little Kuchipudi steps and teach. Not fair.
Yeah.
Kanna, it's correct, na? Artists, we can pick up other styles, we can choreograph, but that doesn't mean like it's like a learning a language, right from aksharas. You create words, you
Yeah.
create sentences, you create essays. So without words, alphabets, create nothing. You start creating essays, which is unfair to the style.
Mm.
And that's what has happened. Because of these things that happen, people get an idea that Mohiniyattam is this. So it
Mm.
has had to come and unlearn all that. Now the kids all over the world are learning
Mm.
Mohiniyattam. It has a space for itself. Early when I came here, there were no festivals that had Mohiniyattam.
Mm.
Now we have so many festivals that have Mohiniyattam,
Mm.
which is a big thing. I'm really proud for the style that, but remember, it has to keep growing. If it doesn't show value or substance in it,
It will stop.
It'll stop people, it'll be crushed among others.
Yeah.
So we should not allow that to
You have to be
happen.
careful.
We should flow that is beautiful. We have to keep it going. And also, for that, I've been very lucky. I have had a guru who had seen the world,
Mm,
who had seen the world, who was highly educated, is highly educated,
mm,
not just PhD in Mohiniyattam, establishing Mohiniyattam, who had seen the world. So we had, and the thought processes that went into every item that was created is unique.
mm,
And after like 2 decades or 3 decades, I started seeing them being performed in Kerala. Like I said, she was a visionary. After that, I saw. So her thing was education, study. That is what will keep uplifting the art form. That is why that university came up 4 5 decades ago,
mm,
because of the importance of education that is needed in the art.
mm,
And I'm so blessed that I could be a part of that process. PhD also. After my master's, when I spoke to her, she said, "You don't need a PhD. You're a born artist. You need to get out and start performing." I still today do what the way she guides me. That's fine, because of her I can do this much.
mm,
My complete uh, bhakti, my complete pranams to my guru, all my gurus who made me, and especially to her because I'm performing Mohiniyattam. So she's not been a guiding force just in my dance, my life as well. So it's like if I didn't listen, she tells me I listen. So it was like that. So it's always been like that. That devotion, not
mm.
never. Yeah.
It's,
So
it's so nice to see that even at now, you
yeah,
speak in such humble ways of your teachers, and I think that's something that we get to learn because you know, education system even in schools is changing. It's such a fast, uh, at such speed that sometimes it's difficult to catch up and say, okay, it's fine to be called by name, or it's fine to be. So I think this is the part of the roots that comes orally, and it's not written, or it is not in the digital way. And and I think this is the part where we we uh, we learn from the guru, if you
yeah.
get what I'm saying, to be
Yeah,
humble and
so it's
to take the
always like
best of
kids
what
today should
comes you.
like kids should remember always is surrender. If you've decided
Mm,
this is your teacher, surrender,
yeah.
because or you don't be a part of it. What my guru taught me, the teachings, is what I've seen and I've heard and I've learned, which will be like you say, no, you get a culture from your parents and then you pass it on. It just comes with, you don't have to teach it. So same thing with my students. So uh, speechless. Yeah, my parents and my teacher, and yeah, even anything. First thing that flashes is their images before you attempt something. So
So, thank you so much, and we'll be hopefully meeting next year. So happy New Year, and thank you so much for doing this again. And
I think
yeah,
it's a
thank
pleasure.
you. Thank
Thank you, and you hope the Navapallava banner keeps flying and all the senior teachers and gurus, yes, mind of supporting youngsters, but
you.
takes a little, when you're a performer, there's a lot more that goes into it.
Yeah.
So being an organizer performer is tough, I understand, but they do have good feelings for the youngsters, and best wishes to the next gen, and looking forward to seeing all the beautiful performances, and good luck to the Nava Pallava team. Thank you so much. Thank you,
Thank you,
Shruti.
Sunanda.
Thank
See you soon. Bye.
Bye.